Welcome to this edition of Dufferin Life. I'm your host, Tina Avery. Thank you so much for joining me. I often bring guests on to create awareness, to promote things that are happening in the community. And I think it's really important to talk about how we're making the community better. And my next guest is doing this step by step, making the community better and more inclusive. Joining me today, we have Kim Van Ryan from Branching Out Support Services. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. I think we were just talking about it's been a little while since I'd been on, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back, and I think we want to start from the beginning for anybody who didn't see the last time that you were on, and talk about Branching Out Support Services, or BOSS, and what it is you do.
Sure. So Branching Out Support Services was founded in 2019. We had a few months before the pandemic hit that we were in business, and then COVID came, so we did things a little bit differently maybe than we thought of at the very beginning. But our main goal and social purpose is to provide services for people who have neurodiversities. So a neurodiversity is a brain difference, a developmental disability, a genetic difference, an acquired brain injury. There's lots of different things that can make people's brains different. And we're supporting those people in the community to live really purposeful and lives that they choose and that they want to implement in the community.
Well, that is an amazing thing to take on, for sure. And I think that it's really important that we realize that everybody has differences no matter what they are. And those that are neurodiverse want to be a part of the community and want you to accept them as a part of the community, so that it's a natural thing.
Absolutely.
Right. So let's talk about the accessibility training that I know you've been doing.
Yeah, so the accessibility training is something new that we've added to our, roster of services that we have at Branching Out Support Services. And at this point in time, our executive director, Sarah Clark, and myself are running workshops for businesses, organizations, private groups, families. And the workshop that we run most often is called Dimensions of Neurodiversity.
Okay.
And we've brought this into businesses so that they can really start to think through the process of going beyond the legal responsibilities of having wheelchair access, some of those things, but how they can actually take that another step to create a real feeling of belonging in their space. And it can be very simple things, just like how you use your language or different items that you have available for people who might have differences with their bodies, or different ways to communicate. So we're going into businesses and organizations to bring them this training, and we're just watching people really run with it and flourish, to be able to make these small changes that are huge for people who maybe haven't felt accepted in a space like that before.
And that's so important. When we go out somewhere and we're out in the community, we live in a wonderful community, but you want to have that feeling, and everybody should have that feeling of, this is a place for me and I feel safe and I feel comfortable here. And I know there's one business in particular that I wanted to talk about. You did this training at the Bluebird here in town.
Yeah, so the Bluebird Cafe here in town invited us in, and we did the training with their whole front of house staff and all of their management staff. So during that training, we were able to really work with their servers, their hostess, bartenders, all those people who are doing frontline service in the restaurant, to be able to help give them strategies if they have people come in that have communication differences, and really just to learn about being able to get skills around their own comfort level, around interacting with someone who may be different than them. And again, we really saw a team that was really hungry to learn. Their restaurant's lovely.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
But really, and they really were, and they have since then implemented strategies right away. Something as simple as having weighted cutlery, maybe for people who have tremors in their hands. That could come from a Parkinson's disease, from a different kind of brain difference. And so when you have a weighted utensil in your hand, it often settles the tremor.
I never would have thought about that.
And the silverware looks like the unweighted silverware. They're silver, and there's 7-ounce weights in the handles. They also upgraded and got some double-handled mugs. Again, if people have tremors or don't have really good fine motor skills in their hands, this way they have some more support with their drinking apparatus. And the Bluebird was able to implement those things immediately, and the attitude within their staff followed that. I would say that they are a group of people who really walk the talk.
Yeah, no, they are a phenomenal group over there, and I know that they take on a lot of community initiatives, and I think that this is really important, because as I mentioned, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I never would have thought about the weighted silverware. Like, it's something that I wouldn't normally think of. And I did see a post with the cups, and I thought, how ingenious is that, right? Because the idea of being able to do things yourself and being comfortable and not standing out when you're doing it.
Yes. Yeah, so there's other strategies that we offer people too about creating more visuals, having menus that are laminated with matte laminating for people who have visual issues with lights and can't tolerate glare, or perhaps just their eyesight isn't as good anymore. I mean, lots of seniors need some of these.
I'm right there.
Right? Yeah, need some of these. So we're coming in, we're working with people around their attitudes, but we're also just offering really simple things that if you have a neurodiversity and you show up at a restaurant and you don't have to worry about the glare on your menu, how much more lovely does that make your meal to be there? And so those are the kinds of things we're working on. They're simple and really effective.
That is amazing. So if businesses are interested in getting more information, how do they get
so they can visit our website, branchingoutsupportservices.ca, and we have an education and advocacy tab now. So you can see all of the trainings that are available. Some are more specific to human services. And then we do have this one that is really appropriate across all sectors, and people can contact us and we can set that up with them.
And you said you do these work with families as well?
Yeah, so often we'll have family groups that may want to educate other family members, school teams, other people in their community about neurodiversity. Maybe they have a child with a neurodiversity, they'd like other people to learn. We can do this with family groups as well.
Oh, that's amazing. And I know that I've seen many positive posts on social media from the staff at the Bluebird about how excited they were and how thrilled. And like I said, it almost seems like you wish you would have thought of it yourself, but because you're not in that environment, it's not, and the fact that you're able to offer those services.
Right, and really think about it. I mean, Sarah and I, who are the facilitators of these workshops, we also work with a lot of people with lived experience. So they can tell us what's most helpful. Not everybody has that kind of access. You can find people with lived experience, but not everyone has that kind of access, but we do, because that's our work in the world. And so we're really able to bring messages also from the neurodiverse community about what might be helpful, because we talk to them about this and what makes life a bit more streamlined and helps them feel like they belong.
Yeah, and that is so vitally important for everyone to get that feeling. So we've talked a little bit about the training, but let's talk about the other services that BOSS provides.
Yeah, so we have really three, I would say, streams of services right now. We have day services, which is called the Architect Program, which is geared for adults with neurodiversities. And it is a choice-based program. It is group programming, but the group of adults designs their day. That's why it's called Architect, because they're designing their day, they're designing their life, and they are the architects of their lives. So we have that program that runs 4 days a week in downtown Orangeville at our site. We also have the Common Fare Kitchen, which is attached to the adult day service site, where we have the granola project that runs out of that space, which includes 2 neurodiverse workers who are on our payroll at Branching Out and that's their job. We also have comprehensive one-to-one support services. So people who maybe aren't really ready for a group yet, or perhaps need more specific, like maybe they really want to work on job skills, and it's best to do that one-to-one. We have a number of contract workers who are doing that kind of support in the community as well.
That's wonderful. I actually seen this, and this is because I'm in the wedding industry, that like the granola can be used as favors for a wedding, like so many things. There are so many uses that you could do with this. Like you just have to check it out online for sure, because I find it very, very impressive that the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the spring events that you just announced.
Yeah, so our spring lineup has just been launched, and this has been a big move for us. We've been able to set up an online booking system, so as our business has kind of evolved and grown, and we have a whole roster of events that really anybody in our community is welcome to come to. So we have things like monthly fitness classes, Tai Chi classes, yoga, art, and they are geared towards adults who have brain differences, but honestly anybody could really enjoy these things. And then we also have quite a bit of group programming. So we have male and female mentoring groups, again, targeted at men and women who have differences. We have a nature group that's going to be running, and really importantly, we have some great skills programs in our kitchen. So the kitchen is called the Common Fare Kitchen. It is a project of branching out, so it's attached to our front services, and people are going in there to learn kitchen skills for living independently, for accessing employment, and those types of things. So really being able to have things to add to resumes, to personal portfolios, and those kinds of things as well. So there's a lot going on the downtown sites, which is so lovely, because there was a time when there wasn't as much. So we're really happy to kind of see this ramp up. We also partner with the Westminster Church as a space quite often. Fabulous facility, very accessible, and we have our bigger parties and events there. So we had a costumes and karaoke party in October, a New Year's Eve party. We're having a St. Patrick's Day carnival coming up. So yes, and again, we are happy to have community members join in any of those activities. Everything is on our website. You can register online. If that doesn't work for you, you can contact someone and we can help people register. So hopefully we're streamlining that registration process for people a bit too.
And I mean, we've touched on this, and if you haven't already figured this out, this is important. But why is inclusivity so important?
I think it makes our community as full and robust and interesting as it could possibly be. I mean, I think we see this around other groups, inclusivity around many groups, and we advocate for all of those groups. We learn things from people who are different from us. And I've been hanging out with people who have neurodiversities, and adults specifically, for a long time now, and that experience really shapes who I am. So I know what benefit I've had, and I know our whole community can have the same benefit, which is why we do what we do.
I know, it's just so vitally important. I can't, I lose my ability to speak because I feel so, it's just so important for everybody to realize, because oftentimes when people with brain differences, they were pushed away.
Absolutely.
And hidden behind, and they should be out front and feeling comfortable and just a part of the community.
We actually talk in our Dimensions of Neurodiversity training about the legacy of people who have differences, how the language, the treatment, the philosophies has changed to help people also really understand where this group has come from, you know, being shut away and hidden, and how hard they've had to work themselves for the kind of advocacy they've had to do in order to share their gifts with us.
And there's the building of self-confidence.
Yeah.
Like I just knowing that you're learning something new and you're able to do it on your own, and feeling that level of independence that so many of us take for granted.
Yes. And one of our granola workers, when we asked her what was the best thing about having a job making granola, and she said, "I'm a leader."
Amazing, amazing.
That's what she gets from it, right? What a valued role in our community to be a leader.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kim, I want to thank you for coming back on the show, and I wish you all the success with all of your new programs.
Thank you.
And thank you. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.